we have the magic slide. Okay, this is known officially as the famous green slide. So anybody who's seen me talk probably has seen the famous green slide. So I only get 3 minutes, which is a pity, because I could talk for about 45 minutes about the famous green slide. The vision of Seattle and some of the questions we got, let me summarize my 3 minutes simply. Change is coming to this entire region. Roughly 1 million new jobs in the next 25 years. 1.2 million people, that's the size of Portland, is going to move here in those years. And we can't move out too far. So that means the space that we have is going to change in some way, shape, or form. If we help it to change the right way, really good things happen. If we help it change, if we force it to change bad ways, really bad things will happen. So realize that you cannot stop the change from occurring. In the famous green slide, the top half is a typical suburban neighborhood. People who live in that top half will drive. And they will drive not because they are evil suburbanites, but because the design of the land use tells you you have to drive. It's too far to drive a bus up into those neighborhoods. It takes too long. Anyone who has a car will not sit on the bus for 2 hours to do what they can do in 20 minutes via car. They won't if they own a car. It's too far for most of those people to walk to that giant arterial, which is probably Aurora. And you don't want to stand on Aurora really, particularly if you've waited for 20. If any of you lived in the suburbs, I did for 25 years, right? There's nothing worse than walking to the bus that's on a half-hour headway and get there and see it go by as you're on the wrong side of the street. As an engineer, we design the coolest pedestrian crossings, and if a bus comes, no one pays attention to those cool pedestrian bus crossings. They literally run across Aurora, okay? So, if you live in that upper neighborhood, it's very hard unless you give them park and ride. And when you say to these people, we should walk, we should bike, we should take transit, they think you're crazy because the neighborhood they experience says no. In the bottom half, which has the same number of single-family houses, the same number of multifamily houses, the same school, the same mall, walking, transit, biking makes tremendous sense, right? Because you can run a bus through the middle of any one of those streets. It's never more than 3 blocks to walk. If you don't like one street, it's too busy, you walk around the block the other way. It takes you no time at all to walk from one distance to one place to another. Your activities are mixed. It's easy to take advantage. We've built an awful lot of our region already in these 2 modes. So it's difficult for us to change them. As we go forward to the vision, realize that the vision for one part of the region is different from the vision of the others. We have to serve both. At the same time, everyone gains and everyone pays. No one, and many of the comments I saw were, how are you going to give me this? That's not how the world works. I want to work with people who give and receive. So how are you going to change your neighborhood in a way that's good for your neighborhood, but is also good for the region in the transportation perspective? How can you give back to the region to make it easier for us to serve you so that you can get around easier in many ways? Not just one, not just transit, not just driving, not just bikes, but many ways. If you will help us, we want to help you. And I think that's a really good vision for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark.